year. I was so interested in seeing what him and Quinn Ewers do this year. There's been so much hype.
We should have a pretty dangerous running back in Blake Corum.
Maryland's gone. Talia Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
A little too backyard football is.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. It is Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that is. We in the thick of it. It's college football season, baby. And this is Let's Talk College Football. And I'm not alone because I need to talk and vent this stuff out. I need to talk with my guys. You see who I'm with. The guy who's been with me, almost every week since about this time last year.
Yeah.
Restoring the roar, Alex Looseboy. What up, Alex?
Not too much, man. Like you said, we're in the thick of it here. Big time matchups this weekend, as has been the last couple of weeks. Some last ever matchups for rivalry games, unfortunately, but can't wait to see how it all shakes out.
Absolutely. And we also have my local duck, Quack, my guy, the man that has predicted the upset of Georgia himself, Alec Schoenberg. What up, Alec?
What up, Sean?
Oh, wait. One more thing. I got something for you because today's doubly good.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Let's go.
ALDS, baby. We are here. Let's go.
And the Rangers has won the
Love
series.
No.
Fuck
Hey,
that team, man.
I am glad we are in the playoff hunt after being there when we lost our 100th game a couple years ago. What they've done is really good. Unfortunately, I am a little bit pessimistic just because we have not been here for a while. So regular season and postseason, like my guy Alec has told me, two very different things. So we'll see what happens. But shout out to my guys, my Orioles in the playoffs. Guys, week 6, we are here. And Alex, like you alluded to this past week, every day of the week almost, there are games.
Yeah, Tuesday was the last day without a game until I believe the middle of November. Something like that. Like, it is a long stretch where there's either a college football or NFL game.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yo, so hey, real quick, we're gonna go into this just to recap a couple of these games. Wednesday night, Jackson State outscored Middle Tennessee State 45-30. But I got to shout out, I think Nick Vitalio, the quarterback.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the quarterback out of Middle Tennessee State threw for over 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also, though, had 2 interceptions. And shout out to Jacksonville State. I think they only got 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've been playing pretty well.
Hell, head of the conference, USA. But then also FIU and New Mexico State played a little bit later. New Mexico State, who's 3-3, got the W, 34-17. My eye, Diego Pavia, 2 TDs passing, 1 TD rushing. These aren't games that a lot of people are going to keep their eyes on because New Mexico State has been struggling and FIU's not. Don't garner that much attention, but these were some good games on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Wednesday of all days to catch a couple good games like that. I mean, that Jacksonville MTSU game was fairly close. Diego Pavia, like you said, balled out in that second game. To catch those in the middle of the week, that's nice. I like that.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Thursday
night, Liberty remains undefeated, beating Sam Houston State 21-16. Hey, Kaden Sattler, 257 yards and a touchdown, with also 38 yards on the ground and a touchdown. The running game was on fire with Cooley getting over 100. Daniels, that offense from Liberty was playing together. Mind you, Sam Houston State is D2 FBS, but they are always in the D2 playoffs. So Hey, go ahead, Liberty. Still undefeated. I like that.
Yep.
Hey. And in the last game on Thursday night, Western Kentucky just falls short to LTech 35-28. I mean, in a barn burner. But to be honest, LTech scored all their points in the first half. So,
to credit Western Kentucky, though, we say this about the NFL, and it's almost double for the NCAA. Mm-hmm. It is so tough to go on the road in the middle of the week.
Yeah. Yep.
And for them to go in and win that game, hats off to them. That's impressive.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So, LTech getting the W after actually starting fairly decent, but definitely getting the W. And Alec, I'm going to come to you for this next one because there was 2 games last night. One was Big 10, but the other was the Big 12. Somebody you've talked about a lot this year. K-State takes an L to Oklahoma State, and we've seen how Oklahoma State has struggled. But Kansas State, you called them a fraud, man. And I mean, this lends to that very theory, man. What do you think?
Yep.
For K-State?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of like that was a trap game going in. I think when I woke up yesterday, I go on Twitter, it's my business, and I see every person saying, "Oh, I'm taking K-State this, I'm taking K-State that, blah blah, this whatever. That's my Mega Max, whatever." I knew at that point Oklahoma State was going to run away with that in a heartbeat. It's just that typical, when everybody's on the same side, it never goes well.
Yeah.
Never goes well.
I found that out the hard way last night. I had K-State as well in a parlay.
It never goes well.
Yeah.
And I picked wrong in the next game, too, for that parlay as well. They were both the same one.
And it's craziness. Yo, shout out to Will Howard. Tried to get it done. Over 100 in the air, 152 in the air, 100 on the ground. But like you said, like they got out. Oklahoma State jumped out early. I think it was something like 20-7 or something like the half, or it was
20-7 at the half.
Yeah, 2-score game at the half. But shout out to Oklahoma State. But if I'm not mistaken, this was the first night game at Oklahoma State in decades, like in a long time. I'm not exactly sure why, but they were talking about it. Yeah. So, hey, we'll see. Can we say anything about Oklahoma State, though? I mean, they have looked rough this year, but this was a get-right win.
It absolutely was. I'm just trying to see, because I know Alan Bowman played quarterback for them last night. He played last week as well, because I know Bowman wasn't starting for them in the first couple of years, because I saw he transferred out of Michigan to go there this past year, and he was expected to be the starter, but he wasn't early in the season. So he's gotten in the last couple games, and you've seen them start to put points up on the board. He didn't throw any touchdowns or anything tonight, but kept that offense moving, a lot of field goals.
Yeah. Hey, and at the end of the day, as long as you get the W, there you go. Yep. Get it done. But look, you mentioned it. You alluded to it a little bit earlier. Something that is in your neck of the woods. Nebraska gets the W, 20-7. Yeah. And I mean, at one point, I think they scored twice in like 10 seconds or something like that. It was craziness.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. Yeah, they had a 1-yard touchdown run, and then Illinois fumbled on the kick return, and 10 seconds later ran in another 25-yard touchdown. So, yeah, they punched Illinois in the mouth early, and Illinois didn't know how to respond. And this is the Illinois team that went toe-to-toe with Penn State just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And then you're at home and drop this Nebraska fairly easily. Like, you pretty much just rolled over for them. We're about to find out who Illinois really is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, hey, we will see. This was a tough loss for them. But shout out to Nebraska, man. Matt Rule could have easily just tucked his tail and said, this season's done after those first 2 early losses. But he's starting to click, man. They're starting to fight for something, and I like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like to see that. So we see Scott is here, and we're going to talk about your team because we got somebody on here that's got some choice words for your guys. Going to get cleaned up for the LSU-Mizzou game. Have a great day, gentlemen. My guy. But before we do,
G,
go ahead. Go ahead.
down goes Mizzou.
Oh,
I don't care what anybody says. Brady Cook who?
I can't put any faith in LSU anymore. I can't.
Me neither. That's why I'm probably gonna get fucking bamboozled. So I don't care. Honestly, this is their Super Bowl because Missouri. No offense, y'all will never go to a national championship ever. I'm sorry.
Wow.
that one hurt.
Your team
one
will
hurt.
never even sniff a national championship, nor a college football playoff. So have fun with your
Even
national
with 12
championship
teams
today.
coming?
Wow.
Even with 12 teams coming?
You can have, but I don't care. That team is just they're the.
Wow.
And wait, am I allowed to say bad words on here?
You already have. You're good.
Yeah.
They're the little B word of the SEC.
Wow. Not Vandy?
Wow.
I mean, think about it. Let me pull up Missouri schedule right now. I'll tell you reason why.
Uh-oh.
So they played South Dakota State. Boo. MTSU, that team's trash. Kansas State, fraudulent. Memphis, barely beat them. And then you play Vandy, which you're supposed to hang like 50 on them. 38-21. Get out of here with that.
Mm.
And then you're going to play LSU, who we actually play a real team, finally. And then you play Kentucky.
Is LSU a real team, though, at this point?
Better than Vanderbilt and MTSU.
I mean, yeah.
And then you go, then you
But I
go
feel like
against
they're,
your,
they're on the same level as like
I'ma
K-State
hate
or
saying
something like
this.
that, in my opinion.
Right.
you go to then on the 4th of November, you go between the hedges. As much as Georgia is fraudulent,
They're gonna get their ass beat.
good luck.
Yeah, I ain't betting on that.
I would say Tennessee, but Tennessee, that team can kick rocks because Joe Milton is not him.
Still only one
awful.
loss. Still only one loss.
And then you go against Arkansas at the end
They're
of the
about
season.
to have a few
close
more
out.
coming their way. So
Like, no matter what, I don't care. And Luther Burden will burn LSU secondary. Well, Brady Cook ain't him, and move on, man. That dude is a bona fide bum.
Oh, God. Hey, you heard it here first. Alec has some strong feelings towards your team, Scott.
It's
Look,
because everybody hypes him up. Like, I don't get it. Like, okay, that you guys beat certain teams. I don't.
We're gonna circle back around to this. You can really vent, Alec, but we definitely got to get into some of these college football storylines today. Hey, we all heard about it. Mel Tucker got the axe. He got fired. Like my guy Alex said a couple weeks ago, he is trying to sue. He's trying, for wrongful termination. We'll see. Since that point, though, there have been a couple names that have been circling around. One of them being Urban Meyer, potentially interviewing for this job. Alex, is this for real? Did this happen yet, or what are we thinking?
I don't know. It's one of those things where, depending on where you look, some people have said he's already landed in East Lansing and had talks about the job. Some have said hasn't even sniffed at it. Some have said they called him and he declined to even interview. It's all over the place right now, but it was one of those names that everywhere he's been in college football, he has turned them into an elite program.
Yep.
Every one of those schools had been lower than they've been in a long time. And Urban Meyer brought them back, national championships, that kind of, like, that level of play.
Yeah.
So if MSU can land him, look out, because everyone saw what he was at the NFL level. This dude is one of the greatest football coaches in college football in the last few decades. Not even just this past decade, the last few.
Oh, yeah. Now, I do have to ask this because I did talk to Catherine about this. And Alec, you're free to answer this as well. I did talk to Catherine about this. And as soon as she heard the name, the look on her face was just because at one point he was a great Ohio State coach. And if there's one thing that Michigan and Michigan State agree on is they don't like that team. So I understand the wins, but is this kind of sacrilegious?
I mean, yes. The term I've seen people use for if MSU ends up getting him is they're going to start going on their villain arc. This is we don't necessarily care about the morality of the situation. This is a guy that's going to come in and turn around that program like that. Like we all thought Mel Tucker did. Urban Meyer's going to do that, and it's going to stick. So I've been on record saying that as much as I would hate it, I wouldn't absolutely be opposed to Urban Meyer if Harbaugh had left. I had said that this past offseason. It's one of those things where you hate it off the start, but the phrase that's been used forever is winning solves all, right?
Yep.
So
You're true. You're true.
People would kind of balk at it at first, but when you start to see those wins pile up, they'll accept it.
Yeah, you beat Ohio State and Michigan in a year, and nobody really cares. Why do you think everybody loved Mel Tucker? Because he was able to beat Michigan. You know, Alec, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, like you said, if we get him and he wins, it doesn't really matter, right?
I mean, yeah, it's just weird seeing, like, with that hatred and that rivalry. This, I don't know. That's just
God,
like,
would it ever?
that is really like a weird thing.
But I mean, you think
It's
about
like
it.
Bill Belichick coaching the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Saban coached LSU and then went to Bama. We've seen it.
Yeah. Shoot, Saban even coached Michigan State at one point.
Yep.
Mm.
Very.
I thought
It's
that
like
one alone
Urban
because it
Meyer.
wasn't very good, but
It's like Urban Meyer coaching Michigan.
yep.
I
feel like it's a bit of a lesser extent coaching, like him going to MSU than it is going to Michigan.
Yeah.
But it's still like it's like if Michigan's here, MSU's like here. It's not far behind.
They still don't like him. They still don't like him at all.
Yeah.
So, so hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he gets the job. It will definitely be an upgrade, if for nothing else, than the resume that Urban Meyer will be coming into East Lansing with. So we'll see. Hopefully they can get it done.
If you fire Mel Tucker and then you go to Urban Meyer, that's extremely hypocritical because we've seen some of the stuff the last couple of years that's come out with Urban. It's extremely hypocritical if they do that. Yeah.
And we also know that if there's any way that Tim Tebow has any eligibility left, he will be coming to East Lansing with them.
Yeah. Might not be as a quarterback, but he'll play something.
Right. Who's this new player? 18-year of eligibility coming into the game. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Good old Urban Meyer. So, hey, we'll see what happens. But right now, Michigan State needs something just to stabilize things over there because it's not looking good. They played a great game against Iowa, although McNamara was hurt in that game. They had the backup come in. But in true Michigan State fashion right now, they choked it away at the end. And definitely hard to watch for Kat. She didn't like that.
Yeah, I think the more realistic scenarios for MSU, the ones that I'm seeing right now, are Duke's coach Mike Elko. I've seen Kansas's coach going. Betting odds have Mark Stoops pretty high up there, leaving Kentucky going there.
Yeah.
The other one I'm seeing a lot of movement for, at least in like betting odds and that kind of stuff, Brian Hartline, Ohio State offensive coordinator and receivers coach.
Ooh.
Seeing a lot of movement up boards for him.
Another Ohio State guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would hurt as much as Urban Meyer. But
but it helps Michigan State because it's somebody that's been with Ohio State the last few years, knows how they run, knows the ins and outs of that organization.
Absolutely. I like that. So, hey, we'll put a pin in that and we'll see where it goes down the line. But my guy down here, Mr. Navy Man, brought up a topic a week ago. And yes, I did clip it. And yes, I did tell the world because my guy let him know there are frauds in this country, ladies and gentlemen. Frauds. Okay? We talked about on Tuesday that's the undefeated, and there's still some out there. I know my guys gonna talk about it, but this week let's go into the one-loss teams. Okay, Alec, I'll start with you. I'll start in the Pac-12. We have several one-loss teams: Oregon State and Utah, both
And
at
UCLA.
4-1, and UCLA at 3-1. What are your thoughts on them? You talked about them this year? What are your thoughts? Who's a fraud? Who's for real?
I mean, frauds wise, I would say. Let's see if I can pull up my notes on here that I had. I want to say it's more so. You say it has to be like overall just one loss teams.
Mm-hmm.
For
In the
one loss
Pac-12.
teams, I can't really say Utah because it's also they're without their quarterback.
Yep.
And if you look at Oregon State, I mean, I can't really knock them out of it. But if you look at Washington last week, Arizona, what's it called? What? Oh, fuck, where's my nose at? Arizona almost got them close towards the end of the game. So it's just like I feel like teams are slowly catching on to everything that's going on in Washington. Not saying Washington's like a fraud in any sort of way fashion.
I was gonna say I would have gone to bat against you for that.
But the one
Alex
I can
moved
say,
up.
like I even
I was like,
said
Washington's
it,
one of my like sleeper team this year, like natty
Like with-
sleeper.
like USC. I'll say it every single day. Swiss cheese defense. That's what they death taxes in USC not having no defense. You could pull any stat about anything in their defense, and I will still tell you guys straight up, defense is fraudulent. Always will be. Always have. They could be first or fifth, whatever. I've seen that team the last 7 years, and that's one thing they never fixed is their defense.
Mm-hmm.
They had a huge lead against Colorado, and you let Colorado come back to even have a chance.
All the way back.
No,
Yeah, where
they-
you had to recover an onside kick in the last few minutes to lock that win in.
And even with us, like Stanford, the beginning of the game, like we could have if we never would have like put on the gas, we could have lost that game. Like I
Mhm.
watched the first quarter, I was like, what are we doing? Like Stanford, like it's always those trap games that with the Pac-12 is like you could play a 1-win team and think you have a guaranteed win that week. Not in the Pac-12, but if you look at this week, like UCLA, it's the most fraudulent 3-1 team I've ever seen in my life.
I was waiting for this one.
Because like if you look at their team, it's just like you would think that team was like good in any sort of way fashion. But if I remember last week when I think it was like last week or week before. I think it was like their first play, pick 6 against a Utah team, and like they only put up 7. Like I don't know, like that offense is just not screaming. Like you can say you can beat like NC Central or Coastal Carolina, or even San Diego State, but then you go into Pac-12 play where it really matters, and then you lay a goose egg. Like that, it's fraudulent in any sort of way fashion to have all that talent on their offense to do nothing with it.
So I have a question for you, Alec. With a big time game for them today, UCLA Washington State. If UCLA wins, are they closer to being legit, or is Washington State more of a fraud?
I want to say because Washington State, like I never like no one like the thing is like before the season, no one really had hopes for Washington State. They were still on the come up.
Oh yeah.
So it wouldn't really be them being frauds. It's just they're like equivalent to like this is what we have. Like we don't have high expectations. We're just going out there each week, and they are now 4-0. Not saying like they're fraudulent, but if UCLA wins, it doesn't really knock down Washington State because they were also still seeing what they have this year.
Yeah.
They weren't having high hopes for Pac-12 championship. So in reality, it just makes UCLA not even really a contender because I had no really like before the season. I had no high hopes for Washington State. I said like they were like a sneaky team that can upset you each week if you give the opportunity to. But UCLA, in my opinion,
oh absolutely.
You have
Shaq.
all these you have all these studs on your team, and then you go into Pac-12 play and you have no offensive firepower. that burns you in the end. And Washington State is no
Mhm.
slouch. Like whenever you don't score
Yeah.
on that drive, you're screwed in the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So hey, today's going to show. Today's absolutely going to show because I really want to see. But you're absolutely right with Washington State. They're playing with house money. Shout out to Cameron Ward, 13 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was my player of the week. Exactly, he's my player of the week. So I love this. I want to see what he can do today, and I think it will help them. But I completely agree. Nobody. Until you get there where they've gone completely undefeated, nobody's going to give Washington State any of that real attention because eventually they know they're going to go up against somebody better. We'll see. We'll see. Alex, I'm coming to you. Big Ten. We know about all the undefeated teams, Maryland, Ohio State, Penn State, and y'all. But then in that next tier, you got some teams, couple normal, Wisconsin at 3-1 and Iowa at 4-1. But then Rutgers,
yeah,
4-1. Woo, I like that. So, what are your thoughts? Who's a fraud? Who's for real?
To me, Wisconsin and Iowa are for real. I mean, me and you, Sean, both said how we actually feel about Washington State. That's Wisconsin's only loss, and Iowa's only loss is to Penn State. So they both lost to currently top 13 programs in the nation. Which is crazy to say about Washington State. But I think they're both legit. As far as Rutgers goes, it's tough to say because, they got whooped by Michigan. That was expected. But then they've run it up on Northwestern, Temple, Virginia Tech, and Wagner. But those first three games, those are games that Rutgers doesn't normally run the score up on. And they won all those games by 3 scores. So this week is going to tell a lot because 2 of those kind of one-loss teams play each other. Rutgers is at Wisconsin for noon kickoff today. So that is going to tell a lot for those 2.
So, but is this a similar to a Missouri? Is this similar to a Washington State where it's like, okay, you've been able to win the last couple, but we saw when you come up against a prominent team, you get smacked. So is this just, let's see what nice games are on their schedule? I guess we'll see today.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of hold off to see until we see how they do against Wisconsin, because for me it was like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and then that second tier was like Maryland, Wisconsin, Iowa, those kind of teams. And then Rutgers was a step below them. So this is really going to tell if Rutgers has climbed up into that second tier or if they're just kind of the best of that third, fourth tier.
Yeah. We'll see going forward. And, hey, hopefully love Greg Schiano, love what they're doing, but not expecting this. So we'll see. We'll see how long this can last. Definitely want to drop love to the ACC, Duke, Mike Elko. Yes, I know with this on my head, everybody's like, "Oh, seriously, you talking about Duke?" Yes, because Riley Leonard, that offense, the way that defense is playing, they went toe to toe with Notre Dame last week. Thankfully, Riley Leonard, it was only a high ankle sprain and not the ACL or anything worse than that. So he should be back eventually. But I think Duke is for real if they can stay healthy. Because they are definitely playing for Elko. You already talked about Elko potentially, being one of the top coaches that might be looked at to move on. So, he's proven himself. So, yeah, I think they're for real if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
So let's go to one that we all have a lot of say in. Let's go to the SEC. Alec, you talked about it. Tennessee's 4-1. Alabama's 4-1, but Ole Miss and Texas A&M are also 4-1. Who do we? Who can we really believe in this?
Oof.
That's a good answer.
A great answer at that point, because if you look anything about Alabama, I just only talking about because anything I say, it goes opposite direction. Because who's our quarterback for this game? Did they actually meet the confirmation?
It's still Milrow, yeah.
It's Milrow, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm not convinced with that dude. Like, I can't like wake up and be like, yeah, I trust him as my quarterback.
Yeah,
But then you
agreed.
look at Texas A&M, who also, ugh,
Yeah.
this is tough. I have no
I don't
say in
know
this
that I
one.
like Connor Weigman, honestly. There's been
At
a lot of
A&M.
hype going his way. And we're gonna see Weigman and Milrow today. They play each other, A&M and Alabama. I don't feel confident in either of them. I
Hey, and
probably feel
Alex,
more
this
confident in Weigman.
is a perfect question. Is
Who
is
do I
this the
think is
upset alert?
who do you guys think
And
is an upset alert? Let me look.
is it? But I'm saying, let's talk about this one. Texas A&M playing Bama. Texas A&M is unranked, and Bama's 11th. We saw a couple years ago with a backup and Devin A-Chain. Texas A&M was able to get the upset over number 1 Alabama. Can it happen again today?
It absolutely can. They've only got Bama's only a 2-point favorite, so you can tell that everyone's kind of like, how's this game really going to go?
Yeah.
A&M absolutely can do it. They have the talent to do it. They're going to have to get after Milrow.
Mm-hmm.
In my honest opinion, you know what? Fuck it. Kentucky upsets Georgia.
Wow, you're going for it again.
I'm going
Wait
for it.
a minute.
I don't care. I'm
Are
looking at the stats. I'm looking at the stats. And if you get a repeat performance from Ray Davis, if you get a repeat performance and you go through that fraudulent run defense in Georgia, they will lose. In the hedges, I don't care where you say it, neutral site, Georgia, look out.
That make me crazy.
I knew you were going for that right away.
I had to give it to you, man. That was big.
I expect Kentucky to cover
I have
the
no faith in Carson
spread,
Beck.
but-
The dude looks like a freaking, oh my god. Like, if you get that repeat performance from Ray Davis and you look, I can pull up right now all my stats. Where is the team stats?
I'm just mad that one's on
I
at the same
had?
time as Michigan, Minnesota, because
Right.
I want to watch that one too. There might be
Flip
a
it
dual
back and
screen
forth.
action.
Right, yeah. You saw what I was doing last week. Just
Yes, sir.
Watch, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Because if this stat is
Yep.
true, Kentucky's on the cusp of upsetting.
The X factor for me in this game is going to be Devin Leary. He has to have a big game. If Peyton Thorne could put Georgia on their heels like he did a week ago, Devin Leary has to show whatever it was that he had at NC State, and he needs to bring it here today. If they could do that and have a nice balance with Devin Leary and with that running game, that defense has to get some turnovers, but it is very possible.
Mm-hmm.
But over the last 3 years, we have been at this very spot multiple times saying it is very possible. And each time we're left with egg on our face. So I'm not calling it, but I'm glad you did.
I got Georgia by 10, but I like your call there, Alec. It's one that I don't hate at all.
I love it. God, I hope it happens, man, because it's clipped and it's out there. And you're famous. Let's go.
Because you look at their stats, their offense, they only allow 148 yards a game. But then you play Mickey Mouse teams, and then you played Auburn last week, and you thought that was going to be a dog walk. Like, oh, we're playing against Auburn. There's no way we lose this one. You almost lost to Auburn. And then you're going against Kentucky, who's going off momentum. And that's one thing I've noticed about Kentucky. Once they're on momentum, it's no stopping them. And if you continue that run game, if hold true, if they pound the rock on that Georgia's fraudulent defense, Kentucky will win that game.
So
wait, that happens.
Hold up. Are you saying that if a team, even if they're 0-4 on Thursday night, has momentum, that they can beat a team that has 2 wins?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, in your defense, Ron Rivera's your head coach, man.
No,
he needs to go. That dude's not him, man.
The Bears put up 40 on us.
See, the thing is,
Yeah.
Commanders did all this. They changed ownership, changed quarterback, but you still have that clown as your head coach.
Oh,
So until that
wow.
changes, ain't shit changing in Washington.
All right, I brought this on myself, so I'm
Yeah.
taking it back to
I
college.
was gonna say I'll rope it back for you. If Kentucky can take anything from Georgia's game tape,
Mhm.
throw all 11 guys on Brock Bowers and make them figure it out somewhere else.
There it is.
Because if Brock Bowers runs wild like he did against Auburn late in that game, it's over.
Yeah.
You've got the fraudulent defense, according to Alec. You've got all this other stuff, but Brock Bowers himself is a game breaker.
Right.
Whether you hand it off to him, whether you throw it and he's running through tackles like he's freaking Gronk, Brock Bowers is arguably, just regardless of position, the best college football player in the U.S. So, like,
He's proved it. Yeah.
Do whatever you have to do to shut down Brock Bowers.
Yep.
And you have a chance against that offense.
Yep. And I'll piggyback on that and say also Dejon Edwards, that running game. If you can sit there and hold that running game at bay, we all know they lead with their run and they go play action. And then you got Brock Bowers coming off the block and running, up the field. So you got to stop the running game. The exact thing that the Bears did to Washington. All right, we're moving on. So we talked about Big Ten, Pac-12, SEC. I'm going to go real quick. The Big 12, West Virginia, Kansas, and BYU 4-1. West Virginia and BYU, I love to see this. And I'm glad that we're seeing it because Neil, the coach of West Virginia, was on the hot seat coming into this year, and these guys are showing up. These guys are doing what they need to do, but they always have big years in the Big 12 if they have a team. We've seen what they can do. I want to look at Kansas. Kansas started off undefeated last year, and then once Daniels got hurt, obviously, they weren't able to sustain it. This year, they start off undefeated again, and then they get that loss. But are they still for real? Can we still believe in them?
Yes, because if you look at it again, the 2 years line up. They're undefeated. Daniels gets hurt, and then they start to lose.
Yep.
Jake Bean's a pretty good quarterback, but he's not good enough to put you up against Quinn Ewers and Dylan Gabriel and these other top quarterbacks in the conference. He's just not. So, for me, I think as long as they have Daniels as their quarterback, Kansas is a legit, arguably top 15 program in the country. But without him, they're probably not worthy of being ranked.
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's pretty true. Oh.
There's the phone call.
There's the call.
That's the Missouri fan calling me, talking about how his team's going to win today.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Scott has your number?
I was just going to say, what is Scott's number?
My friend from back home, that's a Missouri fan, thinks that Missouri is like the all God and mighty.
Oh,
like, dude, give it up, man. Team's trash.
Yo, you know what? Hey, we've talked about it for the most part. There's a couple other little smaller squads that we could get into, but it's going to be a long season, so we're going to see. I'm getting right into it. I'm getting into it. College football Week 6 preview, games to watch for, and I mean, I think let's go right with it. I'm not even gonna pause or push it back. One of my games to watch for is LSU playing Missouri. Alec, you seem to think that Missouri is a fraud. Your guy is on the phone. Hopefully he's watching. Tell us and tell him why they're a fraud. What's going to happen, man?
2 words. Brady Cook.
Oh.
Like, you go into Pac-12, you go into fucking SEC play now, and then you played like I said, MTSU, you won 23-19. 23-19. A team that you were supposed to walk away from and win by like 20 to 25. But instead, you only win by 3-4. And then you go against Kansas State, who also, in my opinion, is fraudulent. You only win by 3 by a field goal. and then you go against Memphis, neutral site in St. Louis, and only win by what? A touchdown? Give me a break. And then you go against Vandy, a team that everybody bullies around. Michigan can hang up 40 on them. Instead, you only win
In the
by
first half.
less than 10 or around 10, 11. Actually, no, it's 31.
14.
Yeah, about 17 points.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going against LSU. Granted, do I trust LSU? Not so much. Not so much at all. But I will die on the hill and know that Mizzou folds in the big moments. They haven't been shit since Michael Sam's been there. Michael Sam. They haven't been shit since.
Oh,
And
my
they
goodness.
never will be because they're the SEC's little B word.
Oh my goodness. How you
Can't
gonna,
get
hold,
right, never
you're gonna hold
will.
off, bitch, but you can say F word all the little things?
You know
Come
what?
on.
They are the SEC's little bitch. I don't care.
So, all right, but what about like, last year? They almost beat Georgia.
Yeah, because Georgia's, like I said, fraudulent.
I mean,
Georgia plays
No.
nobody good till towards the end of the season.
Oh,
I don't know what to tell you about that one. Georgia, they play
I'm gonna
Walmart
shut on
employees
this
every single
conversation.
week.
yeah.
Like I wish if Michigan, you
For
can
this
you can ask Alex if Michigan was healthy in that game against Georgia in the I think it was like the semifinal, they
2
would
years
have won
ago,
that
yeah.
game.
Nope.
I believe it.
Solid.
I think we could have beat them last year if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot against TCU. 2 years ago, not a chance. We weren't ready for it.
Well, hey, we're right here on that. Let's talk right about it. Georgia, number 1 team, undefeated. You've also called them a fraud, Alec, and they're playing Kentucky. We've already pinpoint what they have to do, and you said they will do it. Alex, you said they won't do it. Ben said they won't. Is it possible? Is this?
I mean, knowing that I just shitted on Georgia again, Kentucky covers.
I
but
can't wait
don't
for
win.
Handy's reaction.
Just because I said that, Kentucky's going to cover, and that's it. That's about it. Will they win? Not really excited to talk shit about their team. We all know Anthony Handy's keyboard's waiting. Video's loading.
Right.
Video is loading, and it's going to be ready by 10 o'clock tonight.
Oh,
He's going to be like, what? You picked Kentucky against us? It's loading. It's freaking loading.
Yo, all right. Alex, give me some of the games that you have to watch for today.
For me, big one. I kind of started off the show with saying the last Red River rivalry matchup.
Yes.
Now, obviously, they'll play each other in the SEC the next year in and year out, but it's not going to be that protected rivalry like this one is. It's interesting because Texas is the favorite by 4, but when they run the simulation on the game, Oklahoma wins. It says here 55% of the time. I like Texas to win by a couple scores in this. I do. We talk about teams that haven't played anybody. Oklahoma's right up at the top of that list too. Texas has been in some physical matchups. I mean, that Bama game, Wyoming played them tough. And Wyoming's a good team. That's their only loss is Texas as well. So, I mean, you've got Quinn Ewers, you've got Dylan Gabriel. I like the physicality Texas brings. Their play style right now reminds me a lot of what Michigan's doing. Yeah. They want to impose their will at both lines of scrimmage, and they want to play you rough. Now, you've got a really good quarterback back there that's able to sling it all over the field as well. So, yeah, I like Texas to win this by 10 to 17.
Oh, I like that. Since 1955, this series, this rivalry, they are 33, 33, and 3. So this one,
that's awesome.
Erase everything else. This one's for all the marbles. Hey, I agree. I think Texas is the better team physically, and just they can manhandle. OU hadn't played anybody. However, we've seen what Dylan Gabriel has been able to do. QBR of 89, 75% completion percentage, over 1,500 yards, almost 1,600, and 15 pass touchdowns in the first 4 weeks. But like you said, who have they played? Who are they going up against? When you put up, 70 or 80 on some of these squads, I mean, you're getting garbage yards because the game is well in hand. So
now, and my other question for people that like Oklahoma in this game, does anyone remember what the score was last year? If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 49-0. It was at one point in the game at the very least. They didn't have Dylan Gabriel, but is Dylan Gabriel worth 49 points against that Texas defense? My answer is a resounding no. I like Texas to win this pretty comfortably.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. What other games you got, Alex?
For me, I'm looking at the Big Ten for my other two. Michigan, Minnesota, battle for the Big Brown Jug. I like Michigan to go in and just take care of business. I'm expecting big things from the run game tonight.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
And then
I just saw the college game day for next week. Fuck.
Who is it?
Is it you guys?
Yeah.
You guys are playing Washington, is it?
Fuck.
Yeah, Oregon, Washington next week.
Ooh!
Blockbuster.
Let's go.
Matchup.
I'm
my
so
third
glad we'll
one
be on stream for this one. Oh, fuck. I'm not going to hiding that night. Fuck. UW always has our fucking number, man.
I'm blowing up your phone either way.
Absolutely.
Do not disturb our great wonders.
My last matchup is one that I think will be closer than a lot of people are giving them credit for. Ohio State, Maryland. Maryland can throw the ball at will. They're very good at passing the ball, almost 300 yards passing per game. This is going to test Ohio State's pass defense like nobody's been able to test them yet this year. They've got a 17-point spread in this game for Ohio State. I like Ohio State by 10.
Yeah.
I think Maryland absolutely covers that spread. I could be wrong about that, but I really think that Maryland's going to be able to put them on upset alert today.
Where'd you say it was? Is that College Park?
It's in Columbus.
Okay, it's in Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, the horseshoe, man. Hey, but
if you look at it last year with Stroud and all those guys, like you had way more talent on that team. It took Ohio State till the late fourth quarter to put them away. That was one where I was driving back to my parents' place, and I'm like sitting there every chance I get, like every red light, anything. I'm just like, okay, what's the score? Like where are they at? Where are they at? And it was like, oh my God, they might do it. They might do it. And then finally they just put them away at the end. I was just like, come on. Like,
Yep.
But I think this is going to be a lot better game than people expect today.
Oh, I can't wait. Because technically, when you look at the rankings for that division, they're number 2. Isn't it y'all, them, Ohio State, and then Rutgers? Or maybe they're just, they're all defeated, but.
You've got, so technically first is Penn State because they've played 3 conference games. They're 3-0 in the conference.
Gotcha.
Then Maryland and Michigan are right there, both 2-0 in the conference. Then Ohio State at 1-0 in the conference. Then Rutgers, Indiana, and Michigan State at the bottom of the East.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. 2 of the ones I am looking at, one, obviously, number 14, North Carolina comes off the bye week to play Syracuse, a Syracuse team that gave Clemson all they can handle. They are 4-1, but Dino Babers will have those boys ready to play. We always have a tough one with them. And shout out to my guy, Devontae Walker. He is free. He's back. He's eligible to play. We'll see what he does today. I know he might not have his feet under him yet, but we shall see. It's just glad that Drake May now has another weapon, and I'm glad for him, man, because thought it was a little unfair that he was not eligible when you see all these other quarterbacks that are, going through the revolving door of the transfer portal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in that one. Yeah.
One thing I saw with all that transfer stuff that kind of makes a little more sense with why Walker wasn't eligible right away is if you're not a grad transfer, you're technically still only supposed to have one. So that might have been part of the reason, because they're saying a big reason, like a lot of people have been talking about Dion going places already.
Yeah.
He's going to stay because Travis Hunter cannot transfer again.
Yeah.
Because he's not a grad transfer. So I think that's probably a big reason why he wasn't immediately eligible, but I don't know. That's still tough. I don't know why it took so long.
Oh yeah. It's going to be interesting. And the other one I want to see, number 10, Notre Dame with the one loss against number 25 and undefeated Louisville. We saw the matchup between Notre Dame and Duke last week where Notre Dame was able to squeak through, but you got the last two games Notre Dame has played. Both came down to late in the game. They came down to the last play of the game against Ohio State, and then they had to, get a touchdown late against Duke last week. So this could be a trap game. This could be a game where Notre Dame's starting to look ahead at the USCs and at some of the more prominent opponents. So we'll see. We will absolutely see if Notre Dame can get it done. But listen, this is the games to watch for, and we've been talking about it. And Alec, I've let you talk about it for a while, and I wouldn't be on here, and I wouldn't be the host that I am if I didn't give the other side a chance to talk. So my guy, Scott Thaler. Scott.
Oh,
Mizzou. Let's go them Tigers.
I just have to come in here and get on Alec. Alec, I hope you watch this game and you cry because
y'all are fraudulent. Y'all will never see a natty. Never will see a natty.
Let's talk. Go ahead. Hold on.
Michael Sam is the last time y'all ever been relevant. Move on.
Go ahead, Scott.
I only wish we played the Ducks.
No,
you don't want that. You don't want
don't.
that. We will.
Scott,
we will hang 60 on your head,
Scott,
and you will only put up a field goal.
Hold up.
You don't want
Scott,
that smoke, man. You don't want that smoke.
Boys, Brady Cook, Luther Burden. You and I have been talking about them throughout this week. How are you guys going to get the W today?
Well, first of all, Luther Burden is going to be all over the place, but they're mainly going to play him in a slot. If Cook secures the ball, doesn't fumble, doesn't throw interceptions, LSU does not have a chance. Trader has been running an average of 6 yards per carry, so third down is not going to be any problems for them.
How are you gonna stop their offense? We know that quarterback, man. He's very mobile. Malik Neighbors, one of the best receivers in the country.
Well, it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be up and down. There are going to be a lot of lead changes, but I think our secondary can handle them.
Ooh, okay. What you got a score prediction for me, man?
Mizzou 27, LSU 24.
Whew. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
I like that. Scott, I appreciate this, man. I'm glad you came on here because I wanted you to speak your mind, man.
I saw the little grin come over your face. So I was like, what's going on? And then
I had to go get cleaned up, but I apologize for my dirty Mizzou hit.
You're good.
I'm not washing it until after the Tigers win the SEC championship.
I got to do this, Scott, because you're on this show.
That make me crazy.
I was saying that's got to be played.
You can watch it in about 3 weeks, man.
I had to do that. I had to. I'm sorry.
I'm looking forward to the Georgia game because last year we gave that game away. So I think it's possible that we could beat them.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
I
could have won 250 that night. Fuck your team. I could have won 250.
But you don't bet anymore, right,
guys
Alec?
that week. I fucking backed you guys that week. Fuck, man.
God.
Well,
You
smart
okay?
bet is to bet on the Rams this week and the Missouri Tigers.
No.
You know what?
Can't
Hold
bet
on.
the Rams.
You know what, Sean? You know what, Sean? You know what?
Sean,
what
you
you
might have to
do.
play that video again. Because
Yeah,
This is what you should do.
That make me crazy.
If Missouri beats
And
Georgia,
Tigers.
you got to put Scott and Anthony on the same show.
Oh yeah.
I'll be
I'm
there.
gonna let Scott just go off. I'm just gonna let him go off on it. Look. This is why I'm bringing Scott on. I want you on here to rep your team. Okay, go Tigers. Let's go.
Yeah.
If it's one thing I want Missouri to do, someone beat Georgia. Someone, because they're fraudulent and they will be exposed soon. I'm not picking the game no more because every time I pick them, either the other team covers, they just don't win.
This is I just thought about this. This is Scott's redemption for Truman and Mike in
Yeah.
the Mascot Madness.
Hey, if Mizzou wins today, you guys have to vote for Truman the Tiger.
I mean, hey, at this point, Scott. All right, buddy. If we bring it back and Truman and you win today, then we will put Truman somewhere in there.
Tigers.
Yo, hey, real quick, the games are going to start in about 15 minutes. While I have you on here, we're going to go ahead and do this. Players to watch for. Scott, I'm going to start with you. Who is somebody to watch for today?
Corey Schrader, the running back, and Luther Burden III, who probably be one of the top wide receivers picked in the draft when he's eligible.
That's a lot, guys.
He'll probably be in the top 5, not the top 10.
Yeah. I can dig it. Alec, who is one of your players to watch for?
Estime from Notre Dame.
I love that pick.
Yes.
He stole mine.
I feel like that Notre Dame Louisville game is going to be a barn burner.
We need Ben on here to insult Notre Dame.
I mean, I'm not backing the team. I was backing the player.
Yeah.
Fuck Notre Dame, but
No,
Estime is the player.
This Notre Dame hate, man. My goodness.
See, if they didn't
don't
have
blame
Sam
us,
Hartman,
blame
I'd
Marty.
be on their side too, but
Don't blame us. Blame Marty.
Oh,
Marty
yeah, I can rep Sam Hartman until Marty opens his mouth about Notre Dame, and it's just like, nope, bury him.
That's true.
All
Yo.
to a Michigan Notre Dame argument, and then just
Yeah,
in 10 minutes.
Hey, all I gotta say, they're the ones that backed out, not us. So
there it is. Yo, Alex, who's your player to watch for this week, man?
it's in one of the games that Alec called an upset. Ray Davis.
Yes.
If Kentucky wants any chance today, this guy has got to go off.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, and this is not somebody, he might not even have that many targets or that many plays out there today, but hopefully, and I'm pretty sure my guy is suiting up, Devontae Walker, finally getting back out there. I want to see if this guy can be the X factor. We already know Drake May has used whoever he's had at wide receiver. A lot of those guys are no names. We're not aware of fully of who they are right now, but Devontae Walker came into the season supposed to be that guy, and I'm hoping he gets that opportunity. So definitely pay attention to the newly eligible Devontae Walker, man. Let's get it. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, man. I gotta tell you this. I before we even did any of this stuff with Let's Talk Football and everything, I always wanted to do a college football show. There's nothing sweeter to me than this point on a Saturday. You got 15 minutes till game. You get your food right. You get all your stuff ready. Cat's out of town, so I'm gonna get a full slate of college football. Let's go.
First time this season?
Yes. Now you saw she jumped in the comments, so I was kind of like, hush, I'm not here.
Yeah.
They're doing so without me.
And Sean's got MIA for the whole day.
Everything just gets cut. Like, what happened? What?
Yeah.
Yo, so hey, my
Cable's
guys,
getting cut off.
everything.
I got my pork rinds and my one beer ready.
Hey, you're one, just one.
I'm diabetic, so I have to be careful.
Fair.
Understood. Yeah. For you, my guy, for Mr. Truman, Mr. Scott Thaler, I hope your guys get the W. I do. We'll see what happens, but I hope you guys get the W. So look, for me, your boy Sean Spencer, let's go Oats! My guy, host of Restoring the Roar, Mr. Alex Loosemore. My guy down here, the guy that's calling it out, he called it today, and he's going to say Georgia is a fraud, and they will lose, Alec Schaumburg. Hey, and Truman's agent, and Brady Cook's hype man, my guy, Mr. Scott Thaler. Hey, we appreciate y'all being with us today. Go watch some college football. Enjoy yourselves. And, hey, we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Bye.